off. It's not turned off. Okay. I don't know. This is really kind of wild. We're trying to fix this. Technical difficulties with things that you don't know about are really not fun. Yeah, okay. Okay, I did that. Wait, I think we're good. Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? Let's see. Are we good? And we're live. What's up? Oh my goodness, that was a difficult situation. That wasn't fun. Let's not do that again. My word. Okay, we are here live on our live stream. I'm Matt Perrault. How are you? From bettingpros.com. I'm the host of the Daily Juice. Good Sunday morning. How are you? Good Sunday afternoon, depending where you are. This was 17 minutes late. I don't know tech, and so when tech happens, tech happens. So we're here. We're happy. Let's go for 30 minutes or so and talk about these games happening today for the Sweet 16. All right. We've got Gonzaga and Creighton starting it off here in an hour. We've got Florida State, Michigan after that. UCLA, Alabama, Oregon, and USC coming up. Once we get to these games, I'll give you my initial thoughts on the Oregon State and Houston and Arkansas Baylor game coming up tomorrow. I'll give you initial thoughts on both those games here in a second. But before we get to tomorrow, let's make sure we stay with today. Okay, so at the top, you guys know what we wind up doing. We always jump in here with the picks as to what I'm going to be on. Let me just go ahead. I want to make sure I pull up the... Sorry, that's really loud, my phone. The chat so I can see what you guys are going to be writing about as we roll through here for the live stream. Okay, so there we are. Okay, there's the chat. Good stuff. Okay, so let's start with the picks for today. Here are the three plays you guys already know about from the Daily Juice that was out a couple days ago. We are taking the over for Creighton and Gonzaga. Gonzaga, the number one team in the country for first half points. Creighton is in the top 30 for first half points as well. Over 74.5 because I expect the Jays to come out flying today knowing they have to score with Gonzaga. The Jays defensively are better, but they're not good enough to stop Timmy. They're not good enough to stop Suggs, and they know it, so they're going to have to get out and shoot a lot of threes. I expect up-tempo, really, really fast basketball today. I know you could say, Matt, that plays right into the hands of the Zags. The Jays don't have any other answer in my mind. I mean, the three-point shot is their biggest weapon. They have to hope that Gonzaga is cold from the outside because the bigs for Gonzaga are going to create such problems. And the runs for Gonzaga are so steep. They can score 50 points in the first half by themselves. And that could happen. I mean, this is going to be, if you want to really go back to the history of this game here, I mean, when the Big East was forming, there was a conversation going on about Jesuit universities, and a Jesuit contest was going to happen, or conference was going to happen. And there was a contest between which Jesuit schools were going to get in. Like San Francisco was being talked about. Gonzaga was being talked about. How far to the west did the Big East want to go? Did they want to be just a Jesuit university, meaning you go ahead and you take Xavier, and you take St. John's, you take Villanova, and you take all these Catholic Christian Jesuit schools, bring out this whole conference? It basically got chopped off in Omaha. Okay, if you want to know what happened, they went, nope, we're good with Omaha, and that's it. We're not going any farther to the west. Gonzaga, it was a big deal at the time because Gonzaga still was on its way up. They weren't as big as they are now. But Gonzaga being forced to stay in the West Coast Conference, if they were going to make a move, this Jesuit conference, this Jesuit relationship was going to be the way they would do it. I don't say they were angry about it, but there definitely was some conversations going on about how the Zags were feeling about not being invited into this basketball conference, this basketball-only conference, given it's exactly what Gonzaga is. So, I mean, Creighton and Gonzaga are very similar in mission, very similar in how tough it is to get in there. School, they're very much basketball-centric, and this is a big game. All right, this is a really, really big game for a lot of reasons. I am a little concerned about Gonzaga laying down a 30-point beatdown because of what happened earlier, 8 years ago. first time these two teams are playing in the tournament, to my knowledge. This is going to be an absolute barn burner. I think the Jays keep it close. I don't think the Jays win it, okay? I don't think that they win this game, but I think they keep it close. I expect some epic performances. I think this is going to be a really good game. I really do. And dogs were barking really loudly yesterday. I think the Jays, 13.5 points is so many points to give up. Look at Oral Roberts in Arkansas yesterday, 11.5 points. It came down to one shot, right? I'm not saying it's going to come down to one shot, but just like that game, Oral Roberts got off to an incredibly hot start. They hit 5 straight threes in that game, okay? 5 straight threes in that game. The Jays got to get off to a very similar start. I need 5 threes from Mitch Baylock. I need 25 points from Marcus Zagorowski. I need Christian Bishop to stay out of foul trouble, okay? And I need Suggs to have an off day. Those things, Timmy can get his. I'm fine with Timmy having his, okay? But Suggs is the problem. He's the difference maker. He's the NBA player. He's the dude that's got me concerned the most. And the Jays have got to figure out a way to slow him down. I expect them to throw Jefferson at them. I expect them to throw a wave of guards at him and probably 15, 20 fouls, trying to body him up, keep him active, tire him out for later in the game. But he's a big problem, okay? The one thing about Gonzaga is they go 7 deep, and that's it. They have not gotten into foul trouble this year, and they haven't really been run out and been made to be tired this year. Not saying they get tired, but they only go 7 deep. It's one of the big things up against like a Baylor or up against a top-tier team here that can win the national championship. People have said, what happens if Gonzaga does get into foul trouble? So I don't think Gonzaga loses this game. I'm not calling for the upset. I'm not calling for the crazy, right? But I don't hate in today's world to throw a sprinkle on the money line for the Creighton Blue Jays because nobody thinks this can happen. Somebody says Bishop foul trouble. Yeah, Bishop in foul trouble is a problem. They got another big on the bench, but yeah, you don't want to have Bishop in foul trouble today. He's got to be outstanding. Everyone's going to – the only way you beat this Goliath is everyone's got to be slinging their rocks, and you need every David on their game, okay? You need them all stepping up and playing really, really well. If Baylock's not hitting threes, I'll say this. If we see Mahoney shooting more threes than Mitch Baylock, that's a problem, okay? That would be my first major red flag in this game if you have Mahoney jacking threes like crazy and it's like, oh, no, it's one of these games. Because sometimes that guy thinks he's an NBA player and he's not, and he tried the NBA last year, he tiptoed in, and the league was like, nah, man, go back to college. He's going to make money overseas playing pro basketball. I'm not saying he's not a great athlete, great basketball player, but he's not of the elite, not the NBA. And for him, if he shoots a lot today, that's a problem. Now, if he goes off and hits 10 threes, fine, make me shut up. But that's my concern, okay? That's the guy that I want. That's the guy we're looking at. So that's the important piece. By the way, yes, I know that I'm on the pick screen. I know. We're just going back and forth. We're talking over it. This is what we do, okay? See, that's me. I'm still here. Creighton plus 13.5. Creighton over 74.5 first half points, okay? Florida State and their game, there hasn't been much line movement, okay? So the line movement right now, if you want to look at this, and I'll just pull this down so you guys can see me. The line, I got it at 13.5. The Creighton number is 13. I got Florida State at 2.5. The number is 2, okay? So you have Florida State plus 2, Michigan minus 2. UCLA and Bama is still 6.5, and Oregon and USC is still 2. Plus 640 is plus 640. Like yesterday, a lot of people were, and I was talking to people on Twitter about this, about the Sabres game. And the Sabres were plus 790, I think it was, to win the game in regulation against the Boston Bruins yesterday. They had lost 16 straight games. That's just a ridiculous number. They lost in regulation to the Bruins for their 17th consecutive loss. But, to throw a sprinkle on plus 790? To throw a sprinkle on plus 640? Not a horrible deal in a tournament setting. I am biased, okay? So at my wedding, different tables were named after the different teams that I had covered in my career. And there was a Creighton Blue Jays table at my wedding, okay? Just to give you an idea of my ties to this program. I am not going into this saying that I'm not biased, but we're coming off of a 26-10 week. And I'm comfortable telling you, yeah, let's go ahead and roll with this. The total just went up. at FanDuel to 159.5. Normally that means the halftime number goes up. So let's see what the total points. Nope, still at 75. So it's up a half a point. I got 74.5. It's at 75. I need 75 to win. So I don't think it's a horrible thing to bet 75 if you want to go over 75. I just think the first half, I'm concerned about Gonzaga getting up really big. I'm concerned about the Jays being demoralized. I don't want to lose both bets by going with the over here in this game at 159.5, which is really high. I think the first half is fast. Again, Gonzaga is the number one scoring team in the country in the first half, and the Creighton Blue Jays are in the top 30. That's why I'm going there. And then I'm going with the Jays to keep this game close. And 13 points is a lot of points. And again, if you listen to the Daily Juice podcast, I kind of broke this down a bit, but go look at the BYU spreads, look at the BYU games. Right on. Look at the game last time against Oklahoma. Right on, right? 15.5, they win by 16. The books are razor sharp here when it comes to the Zags and what they should be favored from. They've won every game by double digits. I get it, okay? So we're talking about 1 or 2 possessions here. We're talking about free throws at the end. Jays lose by 10, and we're good, right? So that's what I'm hopefully seeing the Jays keep this game relatively close and we don't see a monster blowout. It would be phenomenal if the Jays had like a 5-point lead with 5 minutes to go, right? That would be great. And then Gonzaga maybe goes on a spurt. They win the game by 5, by 6, and we cover the 13. That's the hope for where we are here with that. For Florida State at 2.5, their length is incredible. They turn the basketball over really, really well. Michigan doesn't turn the basketball over all that much, but Leonard Hamilton's got a lot of funky defenses I think he's going to throw at Michigan. Much like, the Jays need the 3-point shot to go, Michigan's got to hit the 3-2 today. And they did that late. I still think LSU got tired. I still think that they just ran out of gas. They had the talent to beat Michigan. They just couldn't go for the last 10 minutes of that game. That won't be the problem for Florida State. This is a deep team. They're long. They're incredibly athletic. And I just think they're going to blow. I think they're going to knock out Michigan. I think Michigan's going to blow this. And, at 2.5, Michigan wins by 2, I'm fine. I took the 2.5. But I don't hate a money line sprinkle here with Florida State on plus 120. I don't hate that. I think this is going to be, people have kind of been sleeping on how good Florida State is. And I gave you that stat on the Daily Juice. Last 10 times a ranked team Florida State has played, they're 10-0 against the spread. They rise up here and they win these games and they cover these lines against ranked teams. And this is the number 1 seed here, okay? So I like Florida State a lot today here in their game. I added the Alabama the total at 143. If I was going to bet that, I would bet the under in that game. I think you're going to see Florida State take the air out of the ball. I don't think that they're going to want to run with Michigan. I don't think they want to get into an up-tempo basketball game with Michigan. I think they want to bleed the clock and make Michigan work. So if I was going to play 143 a total, I would play the under at 143. For Creighton and Gonzaga, we're playing the first half over. I wouldn't play the game over. I don't know what to make of the game over. But if you want a total in that game, first half, Creighton and Gonzaga. UCLA, Alabama, number 6.5. I laid 6.5 last night with the Crimson Tide. After watching Syracuse play Houston, we've got our teams. Here, if you're new to the live stream, we've got certain teams. Creighton's one of our teams. Houston's one of our teams. I bet against them yesterday. That was my bad. Alabama is one of our teams. Drake, one of our teams. Bama taking on UCLA in a very similar way with Syracuse against Houston. The defense for Alabama is as good or better than Houston. And I think that's going to be the major problem here for UCLA. They've not played a dynamic, defensive-oriented team like this, and they haven't played a team that can shoot threes the way that Alabama can. There's just too many weapons for the Crimson Tide for UCLA to keep up here. I think Alabama's going to steamroll UCLA today. We're going to lay the 6.5. This looks like a double-digit win minimum. I know UCLA's got a lot going for them, but they're playing a lot of games here. 4th game in 10 days. And things have broken their way. They've had a couple really good performances. They're talented. I'm not saying that they're not, but I just think this Bama team defensively, that's going to be the difference here for Alabama. And I think the under would be the play here as well. All 4 unders, by the way, hit yesterday. I think the under again here at 145 for Bama and UCLA. I would expect both teams to play slow. I would expect a very slow pace in this game. 145 under is what I would play for Alabama and UCLA. And then the Oregon and USC game is, it's really hard. And I'll tell you right now, I'm betting it personally, but I'm not going to do it for the pod. I'm going to take the 2 points with Oregon, but USC is so long and so talented. I think there's a coaching matchup that I favor Oregon a lot, but Mobley is just incredible. And if if USC gets the ball to him consistently in the post, in the paint, and he starts going to work, Oregon's got no answers. I mean, Garza's one thing. Mobley's a legit top 3 lottery pick. Not the same for Luka Garza. So even though you may have the same philosophy of like, okay, let Mobley have his and then stop everybody else, that was the game plan against Iowa. I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if you can allow Mobley to have 30 points in the first, 25 minutes of the game. I don't know if you can get away with that, given how good this guy is. So I'm concerned. I'm taking Oregon in the points because my heart tells me to take Oregon in the points, but my head says take USC. So I'm going to stay away from that game officially. I'll be involved with it, but I got Oregon plus the 2. If you want to know where I am on that, I'll take Oregon plus the 2. From a total perspective, this is one I think the over has to hit for Oregon to win this game. If Oregon's going to win or be within this 2-point spread, 138, it's the lowest total of the day. I think it's got to go over. And just given the way that Iowa and Oregon played, I mean, Oregon, the live line, when the number opened for Oregon and Iowa, it was 149.5, right? I bet it at 149.5. The live line during that game was 188.5 at its peak. Now I'm not saying we're going to see that, but it may not be a bad idea if you're concerned is to kind of wait for the first 5-10 minutes and see what happens in this game and then jump in during the game, in game for the total, because you could probably get maybe 145 if it's going really fast and we're seeing threes being hit and tempo. 138, that's a pretty low number and pretty easily for Oregon to get there. So I know USC doesn't play fast, but I think if I was going to play the total in this game, I would play the over. So Creighton plus 13 and the first half over for Gonzaga and Creighton. Florida State plus 2, I would take the under 143. UCLA, Alabama, I'd lay the 6.5 with Bama, and I would take the under 145. And then Oregon plus the 2, and I would take the over 138 for the 4 games coming up here today. So, all right, before we get to the Elite 8, let me jump in here with a couple of questions from you guys. So I apologize for the technical difficulties we were having. Glad that we're on here on a Sunday morning. Thank you for hanging out and bearing with me here for the live stream. All right, everyone's asking this question, okay? So let me just explain real quick. So I had this idea that the Discord channel was going to be the place where I'm going to put my NBA player props. Now, if you remember, Dan Harris and I were having a conversation. I wasn't betting much NBA. I was really skeptical. I was very concerned with the league. I didn't like all the COVID stuff. I didn't like all the sitting down, who's playing, who's not. It was getting to be just too much, and I wasn't really happy with it. So I had bet like 2 games in the NBA. When Dan came to me and said, look, I think we need to get more involved with the NBA. You need to kind of take a look at it because there's a big audience there. We want to make sure we're exposing ourselves to as many people as possible. And I said, okay. I said, what about player props? And he said, okay, yeah. He said, we're rolling out the betting prop cheat sheet and let's the betting pros cheat sheet for the NBA, and let's try to utilize that. So I did not think I was going to start 19-6, okay? But by using the tips in the betting pros cheat sheet, combined with my own, looking at these games and breaking games down and trying to anticipate what was going to happen, it's worked. It's worked really well to the tune of 75%. So what has happened is, because I'm giving out those player props in the Discord channel, we have added, in the last week, 800 people into that. So now we're nearly at 5,000. I think we're pretty much there at 5,000 users. We're going to keep growing this and making this bigger and bigger and bigger. But the Daily Juice channel inside the Discord channel, which, by the way, the link is right below me, is become very active and it has become very crowded, okay? And people come on and they go, where are the player props? So just so you guys know, the best way to do it, I at everyone, which is telling the entire following of the Discord channel that this is what the play is. But in case you miss it or whatever, you can swipe to the right on the Discord channel, and down below there's an @ symbol, okay? Hit that and write Sports Talk Matt in the search bar. That'll list everything that I've ever posted on Discord. And you can scroll back through my posts and you can see where I'm putting up for Discord plays, okay? So I know there's one game in the NBA going on right now. I'm waiting for the 3 games in the evening. So that's where you're going to get my player props, okay? On the Discord channel, I have debated going to half a unit because we've been so hot, but I'm just going to keep going with quarter unit plays at 19-6, and we'll have 2 more going here today. But just so you know, if you come on and you ask everyone over and over again on the Discord channel, where are Matt's player props, where are Matt's player props, it gets redundant and it gets kind of annoying to the people who are in there trying to have legitimate conversations about things happening in the sports betting world, live betting, in-game wagering, whatever, right? So don't ask, hey, where are the player props? Okay, I just told you how to find them inside the Discord channel. Just search my username, and that's how you'll find the player props. If you don't see the notification, turn on your notifications, by the way, on your phone. Go into notifications and turn them on so you're notified on the Discord channel when @everyone gets popped up. Okay, it doesn't happen all that often. It happens a couple times a day, but that's how we let everyone know what's going on inside the Discord channel. So, okay, for that, so there we go. Will the Zags cover today? I don't believe so. No, it's why I bet against it. Let's see. My sites never gave any player props, and Knicks, and of course, it was a winner. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was just kind of like a bleep show yesterday with that. That was, yeah. The Knicks game, because of everything happening with that, that's one of the things with player props that gets to be kind of annoying. Zags score 90 today. Final score will be 92-76. Okay. I mean, the Jays can give up 92. I'm not debating that point. They can give up that. Sprinkle on the money line plus 640. Yeah. I think it's worth the sprinkle. I do. You can go Gonzaga, Florida State, Bama, USC. Okay. I mean, I'm not angry with those picks. I don't think they're wrong. Altman plus 2 in the Sweet 16. Book it. Look, the Oregon USC game is the best game of the day. I fully agree with that. That's the best game of the day. That game, the last game of the day, last game of the week, is going to be wild. Matt, does it also work if you're on Discord from a mobile device? I only use Discord on a mobile device. This phone, that's the only way I'm on Discord. I don't use the desktop version of Discord. So, yeah, it works in there, and it works. I think it works better, personally. You have the desktop version, but I believe, my experience of using both of them, I feel like the Discord app is quicker and more easily to navigate than it is on your computer. So I don't know. Maybe you use it on your computer and that's how you get on the Discord channel, but I personally think the Discord channel is better to be used on your phone, personally. How do I get into the Discord? Should be a link right below me here on YouTube. Just go and see it says Discord. Click on it and follow the directions. I'm on a flight. I can't get into Discord. I'm a fiend for props. What do you want me to do, guys? Come on, all right? When you land, check your phone. Hopefully you're in a place where you can bet. Like, come on. Let's see. Matt, Trae Young punts today. Looks good on a prop. Trae Young points today is what you're saying. The Trae Young points are right now the number 1 player prop. So this is the new game, okay? Which is now this is turned into like a player prop thing. But the new game is, let's go to the betting prop, the Betting Pros cheat sheet on bettingpros.com. Click on NBA, click on player prop cheat sheet, and then guess what Matt's going to bet. Go ahead, all right? If you guys want to do that, that's fine. And I've had 2 people now, like, pound their chest because yesterday they were sure that I was going to go on I was going to pick one of their player props. And then the next day, somebody was like, he's going to take Karl Anthony Towns. And I did, and I took Karl Anthony Towns points and rebounds. It's like, okay, you can probably get an idea as to what direction I'm going to go in, but I don't normally play the number 1 player prop. Okay, even though Trae Young's being projected, his numbers are 23.5, and the Betting Pros prop bet cheat sheet's got him going for 28. Okay, so yeah, we can look at that, but it's not the only thing that I use. I don't bet unders. Okay, the prop bet cheat sheet loves unders, loves them. There was one day where the top 11 player props were all unders. I don't bet unders in player props. It's agonizing as is. I bet over. So that's where I start. So that's my elimination. My elimination is, okay, go through, take all the negatives, all the minuses, and I'm out the window. Then I've got all the positives. Then I go to games that have high totals, okay? Where are the high totals? Then I go to matchups. Who's going to have what? What have they done lately? Who are they facing? Who's the defense? What's the bench? Blah, blah, blah. Likelihood of blowout where the guy's sitting, all those things, right? So far, so good. 19-6. That's the number there, okay? So that's my methodology. That's how I get there. If you want to do it on your own, go ahead. It's all free. Everything we do is free. Everything I do is free, okay? And if you want to predict your own, you want to go ahead and bet the prop bet cheat sheet, that's what it's there for. It's there to help you win, right? So I get the game, and it's fun if you can predict it, but you can't always predict it because you don't know what I'm going to pull up for research. You don't know where I'm going to go. So if you want to add your own, awesome. I'll tell you what I've bet. You can fade or follow it. Okay? Totally up to you on that as to the way we go. All right. Let's see. Matt, any thoughts on tomorrow's Elite 8 games? Okay, sure. Matt or Dan, do you keep track of the player props that hit or don't? The every day you'll see on the Betting Pros prop bet cheat sheet, it tells you whether it hit or not. It doesn't. There's not like a running tally. There's like 75 player props on there every day, but it does keep track during the day. It'll tell you like hit or no hit. It'll tell you what happened. If you want to go at the end of the day, you want to go and look at the Betting Pros cheat sheet. It'll tell you whether they cast or not. Let's see. Can we get player props on MySpace? What? So okay, thoughts on tomorrow. So Oregon is +8. Money came in on Houston early. I was going to be all over Houston. I was going to hammer Houston at 7, and now it's 8. Now I'm waiting. All right, I'm going to hold till tomorrow. I'm going to hold a bit more. My gut tells me that Houston's going to kill Oregon State, but 8 points is a lot. And a part of me says take Oregon State. I'm pausing. My initial first reaction was let's take Houston. And I think a lot of people did that. The first move here was to Houston. But people that I know and people that I trust are on Oregon State, giving me pause. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet on that one. The thing with Oregon State, that zone, it's similar. It's not the 2-3 zone that is played by Syracuse, which they killed Syracuse on the glass, and then Syracuse couldn't hit a shot to save their lives. Syracuse should have won that game, by the way, just FYI. I mean, Syracuse, if they shoot just their average, and granted, Houston's got a lot to do with that, but Buddy Boeheim couldn't buy a bucket. They just couldn't hit any shots. It couldn't hit layups. It was a bad game for Syracuse. Much like I think UCLA today is going to have a bad game against Bama. But my thought would be Houston. So I'm up in the air on that. I am going to tell you that I'm going to be on Arkansas +7. I will take Arkansas against Baylor +7. That's too many points for two teams that match up fairly well against each other. I think Baylor does win the game, but there still is this thing with Baylor. Like even yesterday, Baylor won and covered, but Baylor is still not Baylor. And after their COVID-19 stoppage, they just came back as a different team. And there's no real explanation for it except that just 7 points, I think, is too many points. And I think Arkansas is going to be right there. Eric Musselman's a really good coach. That Arkansas team's not going to be afraid of anybody. So, I mean, if I was going to say yes on that, I would say, yeah. I mean, that's where I would be. Arkansas +7 against Baylor is where I would go with that. So initially, I would have said Houston -7. Now it's 8. I don't know. I'm leaning Oregon State at the moment, but I don't know. Again, I'll tell you about that coming up tomorrow for the Daily Juice podcast. We'll have picks and plays on both these games. The total is 130, by the way. Woof. 130 in an Elite 8 game. Are you kidding me? And then Arkansas Baylor, the total is 148.5 right now, which is a pretty good. I mean, that's a pretty sizable total right now. So two very different games being expected for tomorrow's Elite 8 games, and then we'll have two more coming up on Tuesday. So Monday, Tuesday for Elite 8 games, and then the Final Four coming up this weekend. By the way, we won't do a live stream on Saturday because I'm going to be on vacation. I'm going to be in San Diego. Don't worry, the Daily Juice audio podcast will still be up. No video while I'm gone because I'm going to be running around like crazy, but I'm going to be doing, I think my plan at the moment is to tape the podcast in my car. So that could be fun. People might think I'm crazy, but I think that's where I'm going to be doing the podcast, is taping it in my car. And I don't know, like finding a Starbucks or something every night and going ahead and uploading it using the Starbucks internet. I don't know how my internet is going to be at the hotel. Hopefully it's going to be good, but we'll upload the Daily Juice audio from there. No video for starting on Wednesday morning. No video until I come back for Sunday. We'll have video, but then the live stream, no live stream Saturday, but Monday, there'll be a live stream for the national championship game, whomever is in it. So we'll go through with that. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Mattress Mac has placed a $1 million bet on Houston to win it all. That is a 10-1 return, so $10 million for him. He flew in. I think he flew to Colorado again to go ahead and make that bet. So I'm sure there's some promotion going on with Gallery Furniture in Houston. But Houston now into the Elite Eight coming up tomorrow up against Oregon State. I think that they're going to win the game. I really do. I think Houston's going to win. I just don't know about how many points. And then Houston's in the Final Four, which is like, wow, Kelvin Sampson. How about that? After all that, Phi Slamma Jamma and everything else, Houston's in the Final Four. So that would be something for the city of Houston as to what they've been through. Okay. Yeah, Dan was asked about the bet. Dan, I can answer that question for you. If you go to the prop bet cheat sheet, at the end of the day, it does score every single prop. It does not record the record, though. So you'll see either hit or no hit next to, I think it's a green and a red check mark or an X on the Betting Pros prop bet cheat sheet after the game is over. But it's impossible for it to record all of that. I mean, I guess they might be able to do that, historically speaking, but again, that's why I'm saying I don't bet the prop bet cheat sheet blind. I don't just go on there and take the top two and go, okay, there's my two bets. I don't do that for that very reason. You have to do some research still. This is just like a tip as to what it's projecting that it might happen, how it might get there. So, just FYI on that, how you guys are on those. Just keep that in mind. I guess would be my best idea on that. I'll keep just know that there's still research going on, even with the prop bet cheat sheet going on. Somebody wanted to know about futures. Gonzaga plus 150. This is at FanDuel. Gonzaga plus 150. Baylor plus 300. Houston at plus 650. Bama at plus 900. Michigan at plus 900. And Arkansas plus 1,600. And, I mean, if you want to go like real crazy, Creighton's at plus 5,500, UCLA plus 5,500, Oregon plus 4,000. The Houston numbers come down quite a bit. That's come down quite a bit. But you could still, at FanDuel, you could still like hop on Alabama to win their bracket at plus 165. I think that's a pretty good idea, depending on what happens today with Alabama, with Florida State and Michigan. Florida State, Alabama in the Elite Eight would be an unbelievable game. Whoo, boy, that would be a barn burner of a game to go ahead and predict. FanDuel's got these like to make the Final Four bets, like Alabama at plus 165 to make the Final Four. I think it's still a pretty good bet right now. That's probably the only one I would say has had any real value to jump in. Florida State at plus 350 has got value, but can Florida State beat Alabama? I don't know. I don't know. I'm more comfortable saying Bama at plus 165. That's not bad to go ahead and jump on that. Let me see. Am I getting the bracket sides wrong? Let's see. No. Yeah, it's Florida State and Alabama. What are you talking about? Creighton and FSU on that side of the bracket? You mean the full side of the bracket? Well, if the Blue Jays knock off Gonzaga, I mean, who knows? It could be Oregon against Creighton, and I'm telling you right now, if Oregon and Creighton are playing each other for the chance to go to the Final Four, I don't know what the hell I do. I mean, those are my two guys. Dana Altman and Greg McDermott are my guys. Like, I don't know what to do. I spent 5 years talking to Dana Altman every week. I've been covering Greg McDermott for a decade. I watched his son as a junior in high school, and I've covered the McDermott family. I know his son, Nick, really well. I know his wife. I don't know what I would do there. I would be a mess. If the Blue Jays and the Ducks were playing each other for the chance to go to the Final Four, not going to happen, but it would be remarkable in the Elite Eight. It's most likely going to be, look, I'm totally cool with Oregon and Gonzaga playing. That would be fun. I'd back Oregon there, but it's Gonzaga. And Gonzaga's been incredible. So, this tournament now gets really fun, and this tournament gets really cool. And, somebody writes, I love Gonzaga from back in the day. They made me a lot of money. Sure. Gonzaga has been a great team, but, I talked about this the other day. Let me pull up their up-to-date record. Gonzaga against the number has not been great. They've been okay. They haven't been they haven't been world beaters. Gonzaga against the number this year so far, well, let me just pull it up real quick, is 14, 12, and 2. If you bet every game for Gonzaga this year, you're barely over the juice. You might not be over the juice if you bet every game. Now, you might say, Matt, that's because of the point spread. But that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about the point spread. I'm not talking about a team that's undefeated. They're undefeated. They've won every game. So every money line, unless you're betting money lines and laying stupid chalk on money line, like today, if you're laying minus 950 on Gonzaga on the money line, get your head checked. Like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you laying 950 on a money line? That makes no sense. So I guess if Gonzaga's making you money, like, how much money? Okay? Like, you're laying $950 to win 100? Like, why? Like, why would you even, or $95 to win 10? Why? That's not really intelligent gambling. That's not very smart. So, I mean, that's, why are you going to lay, the price of a mid-sized mediocre hotel room for the chance to win a cup of coffee? Like what? Or like a Starbucks order. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, don't do that. But, I mean, against the number, against Oklahoma, they covered barely. They got bailed out. That should not have been a cover. They beat Norfolk State by 43. But again, we'll just go back to the BYU games. This is why I bet Creighton today. BYU, 17 point at home for Gonzaga against BYU, favored by 17. They won by 17. On the road at BYU, favored by 11. They won by 11. In the tournament for the West Coast Conference Tournament in the final, they were favored by 14. They won by 10. All right? So I think the Jays and BYU are very similar. And that's why the number, I think, is super sharp, and I think I'm taking the points. Again, I'm not saying Gonzaga's going to lose. Just saying the Jays don't get blown completely off the court, okay? And I think there's a decent shot for a backdoor. They may be up by 30, and then we see a run, a late run. So Creighton is better than Oklahoma. They're better than Norfolk State, no debate. I'm not debating that. Are they better than Oklahoma? Now, Oklahoma was without their number 2 leading scorer in that game. Remember that, okay? Who was out with COVID. So that was a big blow for Oklahoma. Are the Jays better than Oklahoma? I don't know the answer to that question. I would love to have found out. I don't know the answer. Because I'll tell you one thing. The Jays that played against Georgetown in the Big East tournament, not better than Oklahoma. The Jays that beat Villanova by 16 in Omaha, better than Oklahoma. So which version of the Jays are you getting in that game before we break that down? So, 3-point shot, 3-point shot, 3-point shot. It's the story of so many of these games, but it's a story of this game for the Jays because the spurts for Gonzaga are stupid. You can be good, It's 20-20, you're feeling all good, and then all of a sudden a 14-2 run, and it's like, ooh, I'm down 12. Like, that's what Gonzaga does. They're so fast, they're so quick, they score in bunches. The Jays would be very careful of not getting into a complete track meet, even though I think it could be a 3-point shooting contest at times today between Creighton and Gonzaga. They got to be careful. They can't let that get away from them and really go big. What about a teaser with the Zags to drop the line to 9? Teasers are negative expected value in college basketball. If you find a 5-point teaser, like the Westgate here in Vegas does 5-point college basketball teasers, that's okay. But most books do 4-point teasers. It's not worth it. It's 2 buckets. College basketball, if a team's going to cover, it rarely comes down to, and I guess I've just said, the lines are super sharp for Gonzaga, so I'm kind of contradicting myself. But it's not worth laying the juice that's going to cost you to do that. Just bet Gonzaga. If you think Gonzaga's going to win and cover, bet Gonzaga to win and cover. Don't add an extra leg because, okay, maybe Gonzaga comes in and they cover, but the second leg, whatever you're using, maybe that won't. And so, okay, you got the Gonzaga number down to 9 where you wanted it to, but the other number, the other game you bet doesn't go. And so why all your attention is focused on Gonzaga and Creighton, and you're focused on that one game, and then that one game hits, the second leg doesn't, and then it blows up the first leg. See what I mean? It's just not really worth it. If you want to take flyer bets in for fun and whatnot and line up all 4 games and tease them all, fine, but just know what you're doing. That's not an educated, intelligent wager. That's a lottery ticket, Hail Mary, let's just go see what happens type of bet, which is fun sometimes. I'm not debating that. I've walked into casinos and put $50 down on black for the hell of it, right? You just walk in, hey, $50 down on black. Yeah, those are fun things you can do and enjoy yourself, and it's just, you're there to have fun. So I'm not I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying it's not like if you're going to be studying this and working through the process of betting teasers are not smart. Football, different story. Basketball, way too volatile. Let's see. I hear that loud and clear. Lately, not been great. Gonzaga against the number. Yeah, I mean, all year they've not been great against the number. They're a great basketball team. Okay, they are elite. They have a chance to run the table and go undefeated. Okay, insane season. But let's separate the season against the spread from the season in terms of where they are as a team, winning and losing. Right. This is the definition of, like, when I say this should be a separation of church and state. This is the separation of church and state. Church is these guys are godly. State, us, okay, where we are, they haven't been great. They've been okay, but the numbers have been so stupid high that, I mean, 32, 27, 37, 38, 42 and a half. I mean, these are all spreads that Gonzaga has had this year on their games. That's stupid. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. You really stop and think about it. So, all right. The Jays are getting ready. Do you like a Gonzaga first half bet? Let me look here. Gonzaga first half. I'm going to guess it's going to be money on the Jays. It's down to 12.5. So we have, here we go. We have a point of closing line value. Creighton plus 13.5, and now late money coming in on the Jays, dropping the number to 12.5. Line movement while we're on the live stream. First half, it's 7.5. No. I hate when the books do this. They think the public will come in, and because the line's 12.5, the 7.5 number, this should be 6.5 or 6. It's got a whole point on there because they think you're going to try to get away from that double-digit line. No. Gonzaga minus 7.5 is a no bet for me. I hate the books shading towards the first half line. Can't stand it. The first half total, however, is still 75. So total is still 159.5. That's not moved. Money line still plus 640 and minus 950 for Gonzaga. Team total for Gonzaga in the first half is 86. First half team total is 41.5 at 106. I don't hate that, okay? The Jays are at 33.5. I actually think the Jays at 33.5, there's on the over there. There's more value on betting Creighton first half team total than there is on Gonzaga first half team total, even though Gonzaga is the number one first half scoring team in the country, which I believe that's their number. Let me double check here. I believe that's the 41. Where is their first half number? I believe that 41 and a half is what they actually average scoring. Where is that? I can't find this right away on the first half numbers. I would have to break it down first half wise. But Gonzaga is the number one team scoring in the first half. But I believe 42 is the number. So I think the 41 is right there on that number for what they score normally. I think the better value. Gonzaga will definitely cover the first half. Okay. I love when people come on live streams and they make proclamations like that. Okay, just go bet it then. Okay, don't make a proclamation. Like, they'll definitely cover. Really? Like, okay, like, no, I wouldn't be that definitive on this that they're gonna come out and blow out. Okay, look, I hope they score 50. I hope the Jays score 40, and we hit the 74.5, and you're right on your bet, I'm right on my bet, and we're all happy. Okay, let's pull for that. Okay, but 41 points in the first half. The Jays are a better defensive team than people think. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about this game. Creighton defensively is better than people think, and this is not the Jays of 5 years ago. They have really done a good job of pushing and really making sure that they're good defensively, and they are a top 100 defensive team, which they have not been for a very long time. Okay, as we wrap, Memphis will win and cover here in the NIT championship game, 76-60 in a big game with a lot of regional implications for recruiting. Mississippi State, Memphis, obviously right across the border there with Mississippi. Spent a lot of time in Tunica, going and gambling over in Tunica, Mississippi. But so Starkville, unfortunately, going to lose here on the NIT championship game at 77-60 with 52 seconds to play in that one. So Memphis will win and cover as the 1 seed. So Penny Hardaway gets his first championship as the head coach of Memphis. Tigers will win the NIT. I will be back in the Discord channel for player props. Yes, we will have that. Best of luck. I'll flash this one more time before we go. Here are the picks. Creighton and Gonzaga over 74.5. 13.5 points for the Creighton Blue Jays. Florida State plus 2.5 in their game against Michigan. And I added Alabama minus 6.5. Crimson Tide minus 6.5 coming up today in their game against UCLA. My name is Matt Perrault. I will talk to you tomorrow morning for the Daily Juice podcast video on this YouTube feed. And then for the championship game, we'll be back next Monday for the national championship game for our next live stream here on the Betting Pros YouTube channel. I will talk to you in the